Okay, welcome back. After understanding what classes are, no, what objects are, we're going to explain about constructor. Means how to create how to create the object from the classes. Let me just use pen in order to draw something here. So I have a class description, which is the class students here. Okay, let me just erase this one. This one, the class students. Use some ways it's easier to look. Let me just put it here. Okay, and then in order to create the students, its data, the object student, its data must be able to, okay, its data must be able to set. So I'm going to paste this one in. Okay, this one is the class. Okay, that's common description of common characteristics and common behaviors of a group of many students. This one is one specific student, and right now what we are making about the the things right now is the constructor. Let me just do this one. Okay, a constructor. Constructor is used to create the object from the class. And if you understand the differences between the object and the class, it will be very easy to understand the constructor. You know, the student is description of common characteristics and also common behaviors, describing collection of many objects. But one object is an individual one, and how can we make it individual? It must hold the values. So to make the difference between the student and the student one and the student class here is that it has the values for its variables. And the job of the constructor, the job of constructor, okay, the job of the constructor is to create the objects from the job of constructor is to create the object from the class. That's why, and in order to create it, you need to set values for it. That's why the job of the constructor is that you're going to receive the input. Okay, the constructor is you're going to receive the inputs. Okay, you're going to receive the input for, let's say, an integer ID found. Okay, another string name. Another one is integer h. Okay, again, they must be in form of a method. Why is it in form of a method? Why is it in form of the method? The reason is, you know, the constructors. The reason is, you're going to create different objects, not only one object. So you need to be able to pass in, okay, or input different values for ID, different values for name, different value for age, so that you can create different students too. Let's say you can create also student 2 here. Okay, also student 2 here. Basically. See, that's why the receiving ID values, name values. Sorry, I should put this one as ID values, name values, and that's why what you should be receiving is name values, okay, age values, and they are in form of input parameters. If you don't understand why we should use input parameters, please go read the function part, okay? And why? Because it's gonna receive different values for different objects. Then, so now this one from here, the user is having ability to input the values for it. Let's say you may input 1 for ID. Okay, then you may input the values for the name passing through the constructor, which is meter one. Okay, and you may input also another information for this one, which is the age is 20. Then when the constructor receives this one, it's going to assign ID to the ID of your class. It's going to assign the name to the name of your class. It's going to assign the age into the age of your class. In order to produce your student 1 objects. Okay, in order to student 1 object, in order to produce student 1 object. See, so it's going to let me just use the drawing, which is in more kind of undo. Okay, let me just use this kind of ID. So when you receive 1, you're going to put 1 here. When you receive meter A, you're going to put meter A inside here. When you receive H, you're going to put H here. From this ID, you produce ID of the student. From this name, you're going to produce the name of the student. From this H, you're going to have the H of the student. Which means the job of the constructor here, is to receive input and assign it to your variables of your class and produce the object. Okay, produce the object. Okay, receive input, then assign it to the variables, produce object. That one is job of constructor. And the constructor is also a method. Okay, but it is a special method. What is that special? Because it's gonna be called automatically. It's not gonna be called by other people, but it's gonna be called automatically in order to create the object. So the name of the constructor must be the same name as the class name. Okay, same class name. Let's say in this case, we're going to have the name of the constructor must be students. Must be students. Okay, must be students. The next point of the constructor is if it's a method or it's a function, but it doesn't have return type. Okay, it doesn't have return types. Why doesn't it have return type? Because this one, anyways, it is called to return an object of a student. So always it's return a student. So you don't have to specify a type. Okay, because it's always return student. So you don't have to do so. Okay, so you don't have to do so. So that one is about the constructor. So we're going to add the constructor into our class so that we are able to create an object from this class. So this is again the no return type. It must be the student, the same name as the class name. Then it's going to receive 3 input values: ID, val for the values of the ID of an object, string name for the name of the object, int h for the h of the object, name var, h var. Okay, name var, h var. Okay, then down here you're going to take id equal to id vals. So you're going to receive the input, assign it to the variable, receive input, assign it to variable, and produce the object. So id equal to id val, name equal to name val, h equal to h val. And by default, this one is called a constructor. Okay, this one is called a constructor. I think so far you really understand it already. And by default, normally you have another constructor which is called the default constructor. The constructor like this is called the parameter rise constructor because you do have parameters inside here. But normally, if you don't specify any constructor, there is one default constructor without any parameters. Let's say that one is the students, and you don't have any input there. Normally it's this one, or you don't need to do any code, or you can initialize your variables with some initial values. Okay, your variables with some initial default values. That one is about the constructor. Then now you can create an object in some application now. In some application now, if you would like to create student one, like this, okay, you're going to use like this one. Okay, after defining the class students, and that student is a data type, so now you can use that students, okay, as a data type to declare variables. Student one, okay, equal to new. You're going to use the new keyword. Okay, then student. Then you pass in the values for that student, 1 for the ID, meter 1 for the name, then 20 for the H. This one won't produce an object. This one is going to produce an object inside the memory, an object like this, with ID equal to 1, name equal to meter 1, and H equal to 20, and store it into a variable student 1 of type students. This one is a variable pointing to this object, but normally people call this one as an object. Similarly, if you create another object student, std2, okay, equal to new students, okay, to this one is meter 2, this one is like 18, okay, Mr. Okay. Right now you can just say student std1 to greet, then student 1 going to greet. Okay, you're gonna say std2 to add, okay, std1 as well, to add 10 and 20. It's going to add first. It's going to add first. Okay. And result required. Okay. And you can use them. Similarly, you can use to the number 2 as well. Okay. So this is the simulation that you can use Java application to describe the classes of objects and create new objects and make use of objects here. Next kind of, so you completed the first features of object-oriented programming, which is an abstraction. Okay, why? Because your class is an abstraction. You are able to describe collection of objects. And we're going to move to another features, which is important features, which is called the encapsulation. But I think I'll put that encapsulations. Another features is encapsulations. Okay. Then other features will be inheritance. And next feature of object-oriented programming, which is polymorphism. And we're going to demonstrate this one later. Okay. And we're going to, we already done this feature. We're going to work on encapsulation in next part. Okay. Bye bye.